I came home early that night, hoping to surprise her. I remember the candles first, the smell of vanilla and wine drifting through the hallway. Soft music played from upstairs. For a moment, I thought maybe she'd done all this for me. "Lena?" I called, no answer. Just the faint sound of laughter, low and familiar. I pushed the bedroom door open. The air left my lungs. My brother's shirt was on the floor. My wife's hair spilled across my pillow. For a second, I thought my brain was lying to me. Then Ryan turned and everything inside me shattered. "Ethan!" Lena gasped, grabbing the blanket. Ryan stumbled back. "Shit, this isn't what?" My voice didn't sound like mine. "Please," Lena said, eyes wide. "Let me explain." "Explain what?" I asked. "How my wife ended up in bed with my brother?" Ryan ran a hand through his hair. "It's not like that." "Not like that?" I stepped forward. "Then tell me, what is it like, Ryan?" He looked down. "We didn't plan it. It just happened," I laughed, short, bitter. "You just happened into my bed?" Lena shook her head. "We were drunk. It was a mistake." "How many mistakes?" I asked. Her voice trembled. "Ethan, please, how many?" She hesitated. "3 times. The number hit harder than the sight itself. 3, I whispered. "That's not a mistake. That's a pattern." Tears slid down her face. "I didn't want to hurt you." "Then why did you?" Ryan stepped forward. "I'll take the blame. It was me." "Don't punish her," I stared at him. "You think you're protecting her now?" He swallowed. "You were always gone, man. You buried yourself in work. She was lonely. So you decided to keep her company?" My laugh was sharp, ugly. "You're my brother." He looked away. "I know. Do you?" I asked. "Because brothers don't do this." Lena cried harder. "Ethan, I still love you." "Don't," I said. "Don't use that word." "I mean it. Love doesn't crawl into someone else's arms," I said. "Love doesn't lie 3 times and call it an accident." Ryan muttered, "I'm sorry." "You should be," I said. "But sorry doesn't mean anything now." He tried to step closer. "Please, listen, don't touch me." He froze. For a moment, none of us spoke. The clock ticked behind me. The music kept playing, cruelly soft. Lena whispered, "Ethan, we can fix this." "Fix?" I repeated. "There's no fixing what's already rotting. I'll end it with him," she said. "I swear," I looked at Ryan. "You hear that? She'll end it. Like this is just some bad habit." Ryan's voice cracked. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "Stop saying that," I said. "You both knew exactly what you were doing." Lena reached for me. "Please, don't leave." I stepped back. "I can't even look at you." "I love you," she said again, desperate. "No," I said quietly. "You love the idea of me. The man who'd never hurt you. The one who'd forgive you." Ryan whispered, "Ethan, don't do this." "Do what?" I asked. "Walk away from a crime scene? Because that's what this is. You killed something tonight." Lena sobbed into her hands. "Please don't hate me." "I don't hate you," I said. "I hate that I believed you." Ryan said, "I'll move out. I'll fix everything." "You can't fix what you've already destroyed," I said. "And I'm not the one who has to live with this now. You are." Lena looked up, mascara streaked down her cheeks. "Don't tell Mom." I stared at her. "That's what you're worried about, not me? Not the wreck you just made of my life?" Her lips trembled. "I'm sorry." "Keep it," I said. "You'll need it more than I do," Ryan whispered. "Bro." I turned sharply. "Don't call me that again." His face fell. "You don't mean that." "I mean every word," I said. "You lost that right tonight." He nodded slowly. "You can hit me if it helps." I almost laughed. "You think this pain is something I can punch away?" He didn't answer. I looked around the room. The sheets twisted, the wine glass on her nightstand, the candlelight flickering over their gilt. Every piece of it was a lie now. "Take care of her," I said finally. Lena's eyes widened. "What? She's yours?" I said. "You earned her?" "Ethan, please." I grabbed my keys from the dresser. "Don't follow me." She reached for me again. "Don't go. We can talk." I stopped at the doorway. "Talk?" I asked. "What's left to say?" "You already said it with him." Ryan's voice broke. "Please, man." I looked at him one last time. "You were my brother," I said softly. "Now you're just someone I used to protect." He didn't reply. I walked downstairs, each step heavier than the last. The scent of those candles followed me out, sickly sweet, clinging to my clothes like a curse. Outside, the night was cold. My chest hurt, but not from the air, from everything else. I stood by the car staring back at the house. The lights glowed through the curtains, still warm, still peaceful, as if nothing inside had died. I whispered, "You two deserve each other." My phone buzzed, her name flashing again and again. I turned it off. The silence that followed was almost comforting. I got into the car and gripped the wheel. My hands shook. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. Only one thought kept repeating in my head. It's over. I started the engine, the headlights cutting through the dark. As I drove away, the house disappeared behind me, just another shape swallowed by the night. I didn't know where I was going. I only knew I couldn't go back. That was the night something inside me broke beyond repair, the night I stopped believing in forever. The walls in this apartment are thin. I hear the couple next door fighting every night. It's ironic. People tearing each other apart while I'm still trying to remember what love used to sound like. The room smells like instant coffee and rain-soaked clothes. My bed's just a mattress on the floor. I haven't unpacked most boxes. I don't plan to. I stare at my phone. 12 missed calls from Mom. I don't answer. She still thinks Lena and I are taking time apart. If she knew the truth, she'd break. The screen lights up again. Mom calling. I let it ring. Then a text pops up. "Dinner this Sunday?" Ryan will be there too. I throw the phone across the bed. "Of course he will," I mutter. Later that night, I pour myself another cup of cheap coffee and open my notebook. The pages are full of half sentences. I write, "She said she loved me." Then she proved she didn't. I cross it out. Then write again. Maybe love isn't real. Maybe it's just the lie we choose to believe. A knock breaks the silence. "Who is it?" "Noah," a familiar voice answers. I open the door. He's standing there, holding a six-pack and wearing that look, the one that says he's worried but pretending not to be. "You look like hell," he says. "Thanks for the compliment." He steps in, scanning the place. "Wow, you really downgraded from the big house." I needed quiet. "This isn't quiet, man." "It's depressing," I shrug. "Fits the mood." He sits at the small table. "You been eating?" "Coffee counts," he sighs. "You can't live like this." "I can. You shouldn't." I sit across from him, rubbing my temples. "Why are you here, Noah?" "Because I'm your friend," he says simply. "And because everyone's talking." I look up. "Talking?" He hesitates. "About Lena and Ryan." My chest tightens. "What about them?" "They're together. Publicly now," I laugh quietly. "Officially, huh?" "Guess betrayal looks better with a label." He watches me carefully. "I didn't want you to hear it from someone else." I already knew it was coming. Noah leans forward. "You don't deserve this, Ethan." I picked them both. I trusted them. "That doesn't mean you caused it." I stare at the table. "You ever wonder if something in you invites pain?" "No," he says. "But you do. You take responsibility for things other people destroy." I glance at him. "You sound like my therapist." "I'd be cheaper," he says, trying to make me smile. I don't. It's weird, you know? I keep replaying it. The look on their faces. The silence after. "That's trauma, not truth," he says softly. "Feels real enough." He studies me. "What are you going to do?" "Nothing." "Nothing?" "Yeah," I say. "I'm done fighting for people who buried me alive." Noah nods slowly. "That's not weakness. That's self-preservation." Doesn't feel like it. "Because you still care," he says. "That's the part they don't get. You love deeply, even when it hurts." Maybe that's my flaw. "Or your strength," he counters. "You lost them, not yourself." The words hang in the air, sharp and warm at the same time. I whisper, "You really think I didn't lose myself?" He shakes his head. "No, you're still here. You just forgot who that is for a while." I lean back, staring at the ceiling. Funny, I thought I knew everything about pain. Turns out betrayal's a different language. "Yeah," he says quietly. "And you're fluent now." I almost laugh. "Congratulations to me." He studies my face. "You hate them?" "I don't know," I say after a pause. "Some days I want them to burn. Other days I just want to forget they exist." That's normal. Nothing feels normal anymore. He taps the notebook on the table. "Keep writing. Even the ugly parts." "Why?" because one day you'll read it and realize you survived. I look at him, unsure if I believe that. You think survival feels like this? No, he says, but this is the part before it starts to feel like living again. I stare at the steam rising from my mug. She texted Mom, I mutter, pretending nothing happened. Maybe she wants to keep her image clean. She's trying to rewrite the story, he says. She can have her version. I know mine, Noah nods. Then own it. Silence fills the room for a moment. Then he stands. You want me to stay tonight? I shake my head. No, I need the noise in my own head. It's louder when I'm alone. He puts a hand on my shoulder. Just don't let it drown you. After he leaves, I sit by the window. The streetlights flicker. Somewhere far away, a siren wails. I whisper to the empty room. You lost them, not yourself. The words sound strange in my voice, like they belong to someone stronger. I write them down. Then underline them twice. For the first time in weeks, I don't feel the need to call her name. Instead, I breathe, slow, shaky, real, and I let the silence stay. I stared at the invitation card on my kitchen table like it was a loaded gun. Family dinner, Mom's handwriting said in soft blue ink. The same ink she used on my birthday cards, back when family meant warmth, not wounds. I should have burned it. But instead, I found myself standing at her doorstep that Sunday evening, the smell of roasted chicken and lemon butter filling the air like a cruel joke. Ethan, Mom's face lit up. I'm so glad you came. Yeah, I muttered. Couldn't say no to you, could I? Her smile faltered. Ryan and Lena are already here. Of course they were. When I stepped into the dining room, my chest tightened. Lena sat beside Ryan, her fingers playing with her napkin. Ryan was pouring wine, pretending not to see me. Ethan, he said finally, forcing a grin. Been a while? Not long enough, I replied. Mom clasped her hands. Let's just eat, okay? It's been months. We need this, we sat. The clinking of silverware was the loudest sound in the room. Ryan cleared his throat. So, I've been working on a new project with Dad's old firm. Thought you'd want to know. I looked up. Why would I? Lena shifted in her chair. Ryan's just trying to talk, Ethan. Can we not talk? I cut in. You sure you're good at that? Her lips pressed together. Please don't do this here. Then where? I asked. You already did everything else there. Ryan slammed his fork down. Enough! Mom gasped. Ryan! I leaned back, heart pounding. You don't get to say enough. Not after what you did, Ethan, Mom whispered. Please, let's just eat. I looked at her, the woman who'd raised us to protect each other. Eat? You want me to pretend nothing happened? Tears welled in her eyes. I just want my family back. You can't glue glass once it's shattered, Mom, I said softly. The silence grew heavier. I could feel Lena's eyes on me, trembling, searching for forgiveness that didn't exist anymore. Mom stood, holding her wine glass. Before we lose this night completely, I want to make a toast. To family. To unity. That word hit me like a match to gasoline. I stood up slowly. Unity? You really want that? Ethan, Ryan started, but I didn't let him finish. You want unity? I said louder. Then let's be honest for once. Let's talk about how my wife, I pointed at Lena, and my brother decided to share a bed behind my back. The glass in Mom's hand slipped and shattered. Ryan pushed his chair back. You're out of line. Out of line? I laughed bitterly. You crossed it first. Ethan, please, Lena whispered. Don't do this here. I turned to her. You already did this everywhere else, didn't you? She flinched. I made a mistake. No, I said quietly. You made a choice. Ryan grabbed his coat. We're leaving. Good, I snapped. Take your guilt with you. Lena stood, her face pale. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, I said. And now you'll live with that. She started crying as Ryan pulled her toward the door. You don't have to destroy everything just because you're hurt, she said. Everything was already destroyed, I replied. You just left me standing in the ruins. They left. The front door slammed, echoing through the hall. Mom's shoulders shook as she knelt to pick up the broken glass. I crouched beside her. Don't, I said softly, taking her hand. You'll cut yourself, her voice cracked. I thought if I brought everyone together, maybe love could fix it. Love doesn't fix betrayal, I said. It hides it until it explodes. She looked at me through tears. I'm sorry, Ethan, I shouldn't have made you come. I nodded. It's okay. Maybe I needed to see it all fall apart to stop pretending. She took a shaky breath. You've always been the quiet one. You hold everything in, but silence, it's killing you. I know, I said. I thought silence made me strong. Turns out it just made me easy to ignore. She touched my face gently. Don't let their mistakes harden you. I won't, I promised, though I wasn't sure I believed it yet. Later that night, I sat in my car outside her house, staring at the empty driveway. The streetlights flickered, reflecting off the tears I hadn't realized were still falling. My phone buzzed, a message from Victor Hale, Noah's older brother. Heard what happened. Call me tomorrow. Let's talk legal options. I stared at the screen for a long time before locking it. Maybe for once, silence wasn't the answer. I started the engine and drove away, leaving behind the echoes of everything I'd once called home. I used to think revenge meant fire. Now I know it can burn quietly, under your skin, behind your smile. Victor handled most of the paperwork while I sat across his desk, pretending to read every clause. You're lucky, he said, tapping the folder. You have proof. The court will side with you. Lucky, I repeated. That's one word for it, he leaned back. You sure you don't want to go public? Ryan's name, Lena's reputation, this could ruin them. I don't want to ruin them, I said. I want them to watch me rise. He studied me for a second. That's colder than I expected. Cold's all I've got left, I said. He nodded slowly. Then build. That's the best revenge I know. So I did. I threw myself into the construction firm, the same one Ryan and I had built from scratch. He still managed the front end. I handled design and logistics. Since the fallout, he'd made some reckless decisions. Projects with poor investors, deals with inflated costs. When I walked in Monday morning, the place looked tense. A few employees avoided eye contact. Morning, Ethan, Claire, our secretary, said carefully. There's someone new waiting in your office. Consultant from the board, I frowned. A consultant? She nodded. They said it's about restructuring management. I pushed the door open and stopped. A woman stood by the window, her hair tied loosely, sleeves rolled up. You're Ethan Ward? She asked, turning to face me. Depends who's asking, I said. She smiled faintly. Maya Chen, project consultant. I'm here to fix your company before it collapses. Blunt, I said. I like that. Good, she replied. You'll need it. I sat down, studying her. She didn't flinch under my stare, just laid out a stack of files. Your brother's been signing projects without proper financial review. It's bad, I know, I said. She looked up. Then why aren't you stopping him? Because sometimes people need to destroy themselves before they realize what they've done. She paused. That's a dark way to run a business. It's not business, I said quietly. It's personal, her eyes softened. Family? Something like that. For a moment, the room was silent except for the hum of the air conditioner. She leaned forward. If you want to save the company, you'll have to make hard choices. You ready for that? I've already made harder ones, I said. Her tone shifted. So this isn't just about profit. It's about proving something. I gave a half smile. You read people fast. I've been broken before, she said simply. Makes you notice things others miss. That hit deeper than I expected. We worked through the files for an hour. She was sharp, direct, unafraid to call out mistakes, even mine. At one point, she looked up and said, You don't talk much unless it's important. Talking hasn't helped me lately, I said. Then maybe you've been talking to the wrong people. That made me look at her properly. Her expression wasn't pity, it was understanding. Later that evening, we ended up walking to the parking lot together. You always stay this late? She asked. Lately, yeah. It's easier than going home, she nodded. Empty spaces are louder at night, aren't they? I stopped. Yeah, they echo. She smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. Then fill them with something new. Work, music, noise, anything but memories. I laughed softly. You sound like my therapist. I'm cheaper, she said. And I don't judge. Not yet, I murmured. She tilted her head. You think I will? Everyone does eventually. Then maybe I'm not everyone. Her words lingered long after she drove away. That night I sat at my desk, staring at the divorce papers Victor had finalized. I could sign them right then. Freedom was one signature away. But my hand wouldn't move. I kept hearing her voice. Fill the silence with something new. So I opened my old notebook and started writing again. Not about her, not about them, but about me. About the man I'd been before the betrayal and the one I was trying to become. The next morning, Maya walked into my office holding 2 coffees. "You looked like someone who doesn't sleep much," she said. "Accurate," I said, taking one. "You always bring peace offerings?" "Only for people worth keeping functional," she said. I smiled. "So you've decided I'm worth it?" "Still deciding," she said with a smirk. We spent the day reviewing site plans, arguing over numbers, laughing at small mistakes. It felt strange, light, almost human. When she leaned over my desk, pointing at a blueprint, her sleeve brushed my arm. I froze for a second. She noticed but didn't pull away. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said quickly. "Just not used to this. Being around someone who doesn't want something from you?" "Exactly." She gave me a small, knowing smile. "You'll get used to it." That night, as I drove home, I realized something had shifted. The rage was still there, but it wasn't consuming me anymore. It was changing, becoming something sharper, cleaner. Revenge didn't have to scream. It could whisper through progress, through every quiet success that proved they hadn't broken me. And maybe, just maybe, I wasn't entirely alone anymore. The hospital smell hit me before the memory did, antiseptic and silence. Mom's room was at the end of the hall, the same one she used to visit Dad in years ago. I walked in quietly. "Ethan," she whispered. Her voice had turned thin, like it might break if I spoke too loudly. "Hey, Mom." "You came." "I always do," I said, pulling up a chair. "You look tired." "I am," she smiled weakly. "Doctors say I should rest more. I tell them rest doesn't fix what's inside." I tried to smile. "You still talk like a poet." "Maybe. Or maybe guilt just rhymes too easily." Her hand trembled when she reached for mine. "You've been watching the news?" "Yeah, Ryan's accident." She paused. "It's bad," I heard. Her eyes closed. "They said he was drinking." He was. Silence stretched between us. Machines hummed softly, counting what was left of time. "Ethan," she said finally, "I need to ask you something." I already knew. "Don't. Please. Mom, forgive him." The word felt heavier than the air around us. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "You're asking the impossible." "I'm asking for peace," she whispered. "Yours, mine, his. He doesn't deserve it. Maybe not." "But you do." Her voice cracked, and something in me cracked with it. "Do you know what he took from me, Mom?" "Yes." Her eyes glistened. "That's why I'm asking. Because you've been carrying that weight so long, it's become your shadow." I didn't answer. I couldn't. She squeezed my hand. "I'm not asking you to forget, just let go." I stared at her hand. Thin, veined, shaking. And realized she wasn't asking for Ryan. She was asking because she wanted to leave this world without seeing me still burning. "I'll try," I said quietly. Her eyes softened. That's all I needed. She fell asleep a few minutes later. I sat there watching the slow rise and fall of her chest, and thought about every word she'd said. Forgiveness. The word felt like a door I didn't know how to open. By the time I left the hospital, the city was fading into dusk. The air was cold. My breath came out like smoke, like something leaving my body for the first time in years. I didn't go home. I drove straight to County General. Ryan was in the ICU. The nurse at the desk looked at me and hesitated. "Family?" "Unfortunately," I said. She nodded and pointed down the hall. Room 312, I walked in. The lights were dim, machines humming quietly. Ryan lay there, bandaged, pale, his right arm in a cast, cuts along his face. He looked small, smaller than I remembered. I stood at the edge of the bed, hands in my pockets. His eyes fluttered open. "Ethan?" "Yeah," he coughed weakly. "Didn't think you'd come." I didn't either. He tried to smile, failed halfway. "You hear what happened?" "I did. I was drunk," he muttered. "Didn't even see the light change." "I know." He looked away. "Guess karma doesn't miss." "No," I said. "It doesn't." He laughed softly, then winced. "You always wanted this, didn't you?" "No," I said. "I wanted peace. Peace? He echoed. From me? From hate. He stared at the ceiling. You hate me that much? I did. He turned his head slowly toward me. So why are you here? I hesitated. The words stuck in my throat before finally finding air. Because Mom asked me to forgive you. His face twisted. Guilt, confusion, something human. You shouldn't. I know. I don't deserve it. You don't, I said. But I'm not doing it for you. He blinked. Then for what? For me. He stared at me like he didn't understand. Maybe he never would. I forgive you, Ryan, I said quietly. Not to erase anything. Not to excuse it. Just so I can breathe again. Tears welled in his eyes. You mean that? I do. He turned his face away, voice breaking. I don't know how to fix any of this. You don't have to, I said. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. Just faced. He nodded slowly, eyes closing. I wish I'd been like you. No, I whispered. You should have just been better than who you were. He didn't reply after that. The monitors kept beeping steadily, filling the silence we couldn't. I stood there for a long time, watching the man who'd once been my brother, my rival, my ghost. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, just emptiness turning into release. When I walked out, the air outside smelled cleaner somehow. The night sky looked softer, less heavy. Forgiveness didn't feel like victory. It felt like surrender, not to him, but to peace. I looked up and whispered to no one. You were right, Mom, and for the first time in years, the weight I'd been carrying finally loosened, just enough for me to breathe again. The sun spilled through the blinds when I woke up, streaking gold across the desk cluttered with sketches and blueprints. It was quiet, the kind of quiet that didn't ache anymore. Maya was already up, pouring coffee. You've been up late again? She said, smiling. Old habits, I replied, stretching. I keep tweaking that new site plan. Perfectionist, she teased. You know it's already approved. Yeah, but I want it to feel right. It's the first project under my own name. No ghosts attached, she nodded. You've come far, Ethan. I smiled faintly. Feels strange, doesn't it? Starting over. Not strange, she said. Earned. We sat at the small kitchen table. The city hummed faintly below, a low rhythm of life I'd finally learned to move with. Got a letter for you, she said, sliding an envelope across the table. My name, written in neat cursive, stared back at me. From who? She hesitated. Lena. The air stilled. I didn't open it, she added softly. Of course not, I said. My hand hovered over it. I hadn't seen that handwriting in over a year, yet every loop of her pen dragged up memories I thought I'd buried. Maya watched quietly. You don't have to read it. I know. I tore it open anyway. Her words bled across the page. Regret, forgive, mistake, love. The kind of language people use when it's too late to matter. When I finished, I folded the letter once, twice, then reached for the lighter beside the candle on the table. Maya didn't stop me. The flame caught fast. The paper curled, blackened, turned to ash in seconds. Some things, I murmured, deserve silence. Maya's eyes softened, and some things deserve peace. I nodded, watching the ashes scatter in the tray. I used to think silence meant weakness. Now it just means I don't owe anyone an echo. She smiled faintly. That's new. So is this version of me. We sat there, the smell of burnt paper lingering in the air. A strange kind of closure. Later that week, I stood in the office we'd built from nothing. 3 desks, a coffee machine, a wall covered in project mock-ups. My firm, my name on the door, Ward Designs, no partnership. No shadows. Just me. Noah stopped by that afternoon, grinning as he leaned against the doorway. You've turned this place into something, man. Still small, I said. Small doesn't mean weak, he said. It means clean, I laughed quietly. You sound like Maya. She's right, he said. You remember what I told you once? You lost them, not yourself. You proved it. I looked around, at the sunlight, the faint hum of computers, the smell of fresh wood. Maybe I just stopped letting their story write mine. He clapped my shoulder. That's the same thing. When he left, I stood by the window watching traffic crawl along the boulevard. The city hadn't changed. I had Maya join me later that evening. She leaned against the frame, Big day. Yeah, I said. Signed 2 new contracts. Congrats, she said. You should celebrate. I did, I said. By working through lunch, she laughed. Of course you did. Then quieter. You ever think about them? Sometimes, and? I hesitated. It's like remembering a scar. You don't feel it until you touch it. She nodded. But it's still part of you. Yeah, just not the part that runs my life anymore. She studied me, then asked, Do you still hate them? I smiled faintly. No, hate was their gift to me. I just stopped unwrapping it. Maya tilted her head. That's poetic for a construction guy. Occupational hazard, I said. She smiled, then reached for my hand. I like this you. I'm learning to like him too. We locked up the office and walked outside. The night was cool, the kind that carried no weight. The streetlights painted the pavement in gold streaks. Do you ever wonder what they're doing now? She asked. Not really, I said. Whatever it is, it's no longer my story. That sounds final. It is. She stopped walking. Then what comes next? I looked up at the skyline. Cranes, glass towers, endless possibility. Building just different things now, she smiled. Like what? Peace, I said. That's a pretty good project to work on. She squeezed my hand. You think it'll ever be finished? No, I said. But that's the point. We reached my car, but neither of us moved to leave. The city hummed around us, alive and restless, but I felt still. I used to think revenge would make me free, I said quietly. Turns out forgiveness did, Maya smiled. Freedom looks good on you. Feels strange, I admitted. Like I'm not waiting for anything anymore. Then maybe you're finally living. Maybe. We stood there for a long time, no words needed. The silence between us wasn't heavy. It was full. The kind of silence that holds peace instead of pain. When she finally drove away, I stayed behind, watching her taillights fade into the distance. I leaned against my car, looked up at the sky, and let the night breathe around me. I thought about everything. The betrayal, the anger, the fire I'd walked through, and realized it had all led here. Pain had taught me how to stand. Loss had taught me how to rebuild, and silence had taught me freedom, not revenge, not triumph, just release. I took a deep breath, feeling the air fill my lungs, and whispered to the quiet city, I'm finally free. The words didn't echo. They didn't need to. They belonged to me.